Morning guys, yeah it's me, sorry bees, I had to get that in. Morning guys, yeah it's update 3, or 4 is it? Update 3 of my Gulf Wars group build. As you can see, the Abrams is done. The only thing that's not done is a lot of the stowage, but I'm going to be doing that separately when I'm doing the figures and stuff and all the little bits. She's not weathered, but I did say in my first video, anybody that follows me, basically what I'm going to do is build the other kit that's going on the diorama, which is this, which is the Mengs Bradley M3a3 with tusk, and it's going to have the full interior. So that is going to be started hopefully today sometime if I get a chance. So that's the next case. But what I want to do is build the diorama base and get that done, which it is built, and it has got now the first couple of coats down of the base coat and a bit of highlighting done, which I'll show you in a bit. But I want to weather them all together when the Bradley's done as well, so it looks a bit more realistic instead of doing one and then another. The Abrams, which I'll show you again in a bit, the gloss coat hasn't turned out very well. I've done it flat straight away basically because on all of my memories I've got, and also all of the research I've done, and pictures I've got of these kits, these vehicles, are all very dusty. So this will be dusty. So luckily it'll cover up the mistakes that's happened. Basically, in a nutshell, I use different varnishes, but the one I'm using at the minute is the XF86 flat base for this one. I've got quite a few little tubs. And basically what I do is just another quick tip here, if you guys, if you can see that AR, what I do is as I've said on numerous other videos, on these smaller tubs of Tamiya's, there's a little lip on the inside of the jar. I use the X20A, thin it, and I top it up to there, give it a good shake and stir, and then it's basically airbrush ready. So every jar that I've done, here's a couple more, they are, you know, I always mark on top airbrush ready AR, so you know it's so I know I can just go to it and it's already done. That's my little tip, and that's what I do anyway. It's dead easy. And then I've got a little shelf here, which sometime this year, when I've got a few more kits in and the stash looks a bit better, I will go through my work area again and show you what I do and where it is. And basically I've got underneath the camera here a little shelf, and it's got my paints, my go-to paints that I use for most builds, like your crystal reds and stuff that you use for your lights, metallic gunmetal silvers, chipping colour, black, whites, buff XF 57s, your flat whites, basically, you know, your go-to stuff that you use for near enough every build. And then also I've got a little section on the left hand side which is always blank until I'm doing a build, and then that is the section that I use for the kits that I'm doing at the minute. So because sometimes, you know, I've been there before where you sort of put them all back into where they belong, all the paint and that, and you forget what you've used. So of course, you know, you're a bit lost then sometimes. But anyway, yeah. So what I did is tipped. There was a little bit left in the bottom, but of course it's all the murky matte density pigment in the bottom that obviously does the dull side for the kit. So I tipped that in, and so didn't even give it a second thought. And I've stirred it and thinned it and whatever else, and of course into a new jar. And of course in little places like well, you can't really see that well, just hit, and on the creases, so just the odd place or two. It's not bad, terrible, like on the SIP panel here, the identification panel there. It's a bit dull and there, and then on the back here, the top of the engine. But again, it won't look too bad on this kit because obviously it's going to be weathered, very dusty, so account for that, can't you? You know, you can cover them mistakes up, so it's not a massive issue. Another thing that's happened is I've used liquid mask for the armoured glass, and it has actually leaked slightly. So when I've pulled it off last night, there's little bits of paint that have gone onto the glass, and I've tried to scratch it off, and I've marked the windows. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dust them up a little bit, so you know it looks a bit more dusty and authentic, as though they just come through a sandstorm and that. Yeah, I've enjoyed the build. It's been a great little build. It's Tamiya kit, so again, I'm not going to say what everybody else says about it. Where's the instructions? This is the kit that it is. It's the M1A2 SEP Abrams Tusk 2. You've got basically 3 versions that you can do in here. You can do the Tusk 1, which is the 1st Battalion 22nd Infantry Regiment, 1st Brigade, 4th Infantry Division, Iraq. Or you can do another Tusk 1, which is the 68th Armoured Regiment, 1st Brigade, 4th Infantry Division, Iraq. Or you can do the Tusk 2, which is the one I've done, which is the 1st Battalion 22nd Infantry Regiment, 1st Brigade, 4th Infantry Division, Baghdad, July 2008. Just for you guys that are not 100% in the know, the difference between the two is basically the Tusk 1 is basically at the sides of the turret and at the sides of the side skirts on the lower hull. It doesn't have the armoured tiles, which there you can see it does on that one, and I just like that one a bit more. And the picture I'm trying to depict is on the diorama, you know, where I want the full armour for the tank, because basically the American army with these vehicles change the vehicles from mission to mission. So obviously if they were going into built up streets and where there's tight corners and stuff, you'd probably have the Tusk 2 armour, the full armour. Whereas if you were sort of open air on the outskirts of perhaps a town or something like that, or going through fields, then your Tusk 1 sort of perhaps would be the type of armour you'd perhaps use. So yeah, but anyway, that's a bit of a boring bit of information for you anyway. Yeah, the kit was beautiful, no fit issues at all, just one little one, which was just at the back here where you put the hull together. It's one of the Tamiya kits where you've got like poly caps at the front, so it goes into into the forks, and then here there's like a bit of a shelf, so like so you like that, and you click it and attach the top hull like that. So it's one of the more modern ones. Excuse the bit of blue tack here. Obviously I've not attached a lot of the stowage because obviously it needs painting. I just put it on here just so you can see, just so it gives it what it's going to hopefully look like. Apart from that, the fit issues were great. There's no thing that stood out that I thought, there's a odd bit of fiddly thing. I've added a bit of more detail in. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'll just plonk you on pause, guys, and then I'll come back in a second. Hi guys, yeah, I'm back. Sorry, what I want to do is just take the stowage off so I can show you what we were on about. Yeah, I can't remember anyway. Yeah, so what I've done is basically, I don't know if you can see all that well, but I'll just bring it up a bit closer to the camera. Oh well guys, if it can be done, it'll be done. Sorry about that guys, I dropped the camera as you can see. So yeah, going back to the bit of detail, as I was trying to show you, it's because I'm in a bit of a cramped space here, so it's a bit difficult. But yeah, I've added bits of wiring here, which obviously on all the detailing research pictures I've got and everything, there's wiring is going from the searchlight there, there's one going from the machine gun, and another bit of wiring there, and another one there on the side. But obviously with it being black you can't 100% see all that, so but yeah, that's that. I've also added, if you can see here, a lot of especially British vehicles, because I know that when we, well, not me personally, but the infantry guys did, they added some water bottles on top of the aerials. I can't remember what that was for now, but it does help out with certain things. There's something that it does. Basically, what I've done is I've got some Japanese tiny bendy tape, so I've done round on that. On this water bottle, I've added a bit of the Tamiya thin bendy tape around, so it looks like it's a label. And then I've basically painted just the top, so there's a bottle top. This one, I've done it as though it's a Nivea water bottle. Again, the same with the Japanese tape around, tying it onto the aerial. And then I've just done the blue sort of cap with that. Yeah, I quite like that little touch. It just suddenly came to me and I quite fancied doing it. There's the little touches I've added. On the back here, I've added the 3 SIP panels, which is the information identification panels. I've painted one, the desert sand colour, and the others are just in the NATO camouflage colours there. On these vehicles, there's the odd one or two that was on. I don't think there was always 100% 3 on, but that's the ones that did. I added the smoke grenades in, the actual Tamiya part of the actual housing of the smoke grenades was solid, so I drilled the holes out and added just a bit of a sprue that I cut down and shaped, stuck in with extra thin, so it sort of melted it into the place, and then painted it the duck egg colour, which they seem to be, which I used Model Air 71009, which is your duck egg green. What else did I do? The glass here is the first time I've used Alclad lacquers, and it's the one that Bees sent me, which is the armoured glass colour. Now it actually asks for this one to be XF, what is it, XF? Smoke anyway, so it's X19, and the smoke one, which is one of the clear sort of ranges of the Tamiya paints, and then this I think is I can't remember, it was some sort of colour anyway, but it wasn't red or it wasn't anything like that, so I did that and just wanted to try it for change. So I used the Alclad lacquers armoured glass colour, which Bees sent me, like I said. Never used it before, but obviously from research and reading of what people have said on the internet, you needed to be very careful with it, with what you do, and make sure that you do it like you know, bit by bit. The other sort of armoured glass colours here on the drivers, I don't know if I can get a decent, can't really get that there, and then on the there's one, a little bit there on the loaders hatch, and then one on the back here that you can see around the back of the commander's cupola. I've added instead it asks for the crystal, you know, the crystal colours again from Tamiya. I've used this card I've used for a long time now for my kits. I just get it from my local Tesco, and you get like I think there's a 10 pack, and you get about 3 sheets of red, gold, silver and blue, I think. So, you know, it's a good range, it's alright, and obviously it lasts you forever, and it fits in perfect if you obviously cut down, because Tamiya give you the sizing and that, like a guide and the instructions, but obviously you don't need that if you don't want to, you just obviously do it by the hatches. The panel here, I wasn't going to add this panel here, it was it's basically, it's an exhaust vent panel, so basically it's put onto the back of the exhaust here, so it pushes all the hot air and everything out going down to the ground, but it does cause quite a lot of dust when the you know, the accelerating there's through the exhaust. I've added this bit of chain at the back, which I've just rusted with the AK's metal burnishing. again, I've done that with the bit of barbed wiring that's there, which is just going to be overhanging on there, or I'm going to have it attached somehow onto there, I'm not sure yet. This air purification system I've added from the Rifle kit. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this could be the same sort of system, but a more upgraded version, because this is from the M1A1 original Gulf War Abrams, so I'm not 100% sure. Sarge Bones, I'm sure you'll tell me, Sarge, if you can let me know that. If not, I'll just remove it, because obviously I've not stuck that down. I've added the IED identification thing there. I was going to add 2, but I'm just leaving it at 1. The decals that I've added onto the barrel are from the Rifle kit. I've had left to put Beastmaster on that side, and then added Absolute Death on that side. I just think it looks pretty cool. I've done a bit of dry brushing over the gun to bring it out, and the other gun to bring it out, so it looks like, you know, a bit more. What I've actually done with that, I tried a new method, and I actually used the Humbrol enamel, and it's a metallic 56, which I think is aluminium or something like that, I'm not sure. But yeah, I've done that on there. The wheels, I've added different colours, so a couple of sand, a couple of the NATO brown, and some of the NATO black. The only one I haven't done is the NATO green. The tracks, I showed you what I did in my last video. They've not been painted at all. I've basically gone over it with one of the sanders and brushed and scuffed up all the pads, and then I've basically dry brushed with model colour. So there is a tiny bit of paint, but it's just dry brushing, and it's 997, which is the silver. Dry brushed the metal parts onto the tracks with that, and then I've gone over it with a varnish. The tow bar here at the front, I've added sand, which was just to add a bit of difference, you know, different colour thing to break up. But yeah, the aerials are from the Rifle kit. That gun is from the Rifle kit. You have to put it together, it's a separate barrel and everything. The bronze or copper on the bullets that you can see in the ammo tins are was again the Humbrol colours, metallic colours. I quite like them. The only reason I'm using them is you can actually buff them up apparently. So I've done that. I haven't buffed them up, but that's why I'm going to start using these. So yeah, that's about it basically for the Abrams. I am actually really chuffed for a change with one of my kits. I am really chuffed that it's come out okay. I've been quite excited to do it at Abrams in this colour call out. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with it, and quite proud of myself for that, to be honest, for a change, because normally, as you guys know, I'm never very happy with my work. So that's that. The figures are basically now all primed, which I used this sort of the thinner white primer, which I don't 100% like, because it seems to be always dead runny and that with that. Again, you have to do, I suppose, with the like you do with the Alclad gloss, you just do it really thinly. So these are all ready for paint now, so I'm looking forward to them. I had a bit of a boo-hoo with this little man. He is actually the commander for the Abrams. Now, you guys that are very observant will notice that he's got another head, which is from, I don't know if I can get it, this pack here, this Legend pack headset. Basically, luckily I'd got that in my stash, because all the beautiful weather that we had the last few days, I did a bit of work outside and I left it to dry on these cocktail sticks, and then stuck into some what do you call it, yeah, anyway, of course it was a bit windy and drafty, wasn't it, and I never even gave it a second thought. And my mother came in and said, you know, you little men, she says, she says, all over the place outside. And I thought, oh shit, I forgot about that. Sorry, excuse the language. So yeah, I went out, and of course, can I find his head anywhere? No, I can't. So luckily, but for a change, I've done him bald. I've never sort of done a bald figure, and I just thought it might be a bit different to sort of have a play out different tones across his head and that. Unless I'm doing a black chap or something, I'm not sure. But the only thing is, I was going to try and manipulate his arm, because on the actual figure he's got a proper headset and his helmet on, so he's obviously listening to his radio and a message coming through on his earpiece. So either that, or I'm just going to pretend that he's, you know, just about to just stretch his head or something like that, you know, or I'm going to try and fashion some sort of thing out of styrene or something to, I don't know. It's something to think about. But yeah, that's the only mishap really I've had with him, with them, the figures. So they're all ready to go to be primed, to be painted now, along with the sheep as well. The diorama base, did I buff this? Yes, I put buff across this, the brick wall. So that obviously will have to have a few more bits to be done on it, and everything else, which obviously I'll do. The bars are going to be rusted, I think. I'm not sure yet about that. But yeah, I think I'm going to rust them. The base is all down. It's basically the XF whatever it is, desert yellow colour I've used. I haven't painted any of the fencing yet, and then the bits of highlights that you can see I've done with the buff, gone over to highlight, pick little bits out for the highlights. I've added sort of different sort of monotones on the road, just to pick out again different bits, just to make it look a bit, what's it, I can't make my mind up whether to, we've got a sand pit in the back garden with all play sand in. I don't know whether to go and get a cup full of sand, put it in the oven and cook it and dry it out a bit, and then sieve it, and then put a few bits of sand over here and that. I'm not sure yet. But I've also got some, of course, as well in Iraq, I know for a fact obviously, and I also know from research pictures as well, that they did have a bit of greenery in Iraq, so I'm going to add a few bits of green, like weeding and that around the posts, and then perhaps the odd one or two sort of here and there, just to give it, just to break it up a little bit. Yeah, but I can't really say much more about that really. On my last diorama I did, which was my first ever one, and didn't do anything with the sides. I think this one I will paint the sides, sand off all the bits of filler that had left, and then paint the sides so it looks a bit better. But yeah, apart from that, I am, to be fair, considering my mojo's been sapped for the last few months and that, I am slowly getting back and really enjoying it. I'm glad I did this Abrams, and it's a Tamiya kit. It's boosted me again. Obviously now I'm due to come on to the Bradley, which is the main kit, and then with the full interior as well. Whether it's going to be perhaps a bit too soon, I don't know, but again, you know, give it a go. It's got to be done, hasn't it? If I find out that it is too much, I shall just box it back up again, and then go and, when the pennies get a bit better, go to my e-models or look on the web and perhaps get an M113, or I quite like the M60, the Marines M60 with all the tiled armour on it. I think that was beautiful. Perhaps have that, but then I'd perhaps have to move a couple of the figures or something. I don't know, but yeah, it's all an idea. It's all there just in case. The other thing I do is just let you know, guys. One thing I do when I'm doing a kit, I always make little notes. I always go through the instructions first, like they always say to do. So like pick out your version you want to do, write little notes about little ideas that you've got or what you want to do, so you know to, you know, when it comes to it, you don't forget about it, because it might be days ago that you thought about certain things. So yeah, that's what I do. And then also what I do is I always have a few of these lying around, which is the, you know, the little sticky pads, and it's just make like my notes of what I need to be doing so I don't forget. You know, like wires to guns, I put aerials, prime figures, prime weapons. You know, make stories, just little bits like that, just so it helps you. It's all, you know, because a lot, especially me, imagination is all over the place when I'm coming to doing builds and that, and I'm thinking, oh, I could be doing this, could be doing that. I could be sitting down watching bloody Heartbeats or something on the telly, and something comes to me, I think, oh, way up, yeah, I'll do that. So then, but then I think, oh, and then you go off and do something else, or my lad calls me and I go off and go and play football or rugby with him or something, I forget, and it's gone then, isn't it? So it's nice to make little notes so you've got them, you know, so it's there. Just trying to think if there's anything else really, guys, apart from that. No, there isn't really. Anything else to say? No, apart from the water bottles here are from the Ryefield kit, so I've added them. I've got a few more, so they'll be going onto the figures, and a couple more perhaps in the back of the Bradley when that's done. These bits of stowage I've got here are basically the fog model stuff. The can't think of what it's called. It's the excuse me a sec, guys. You know, the tarp set from Fields of Glory models, you know, that the I can't think who it is, you know what I mean then. It's that chap set that works with Andy's hobby headquarters in America or whatever, but they have the resin obviously. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in some hot water for a bit. Again, another little tip, guys, any of you that don't know, but resin, if you put it into hot water, it can it supples it up a bit and makes it soft. So then say you've got like a bit of a bump on your tank, which I've got here, if you leave it overnight or while it's warm, it should blend and mould to the actual indents of your vehicle. So yeah, anyway, a bit of useless, shall we say, tips I've given you that you all probably know a million times over, but anyway guys, hope you're all safe and hope you all stay well. Just a quick shout out to Matt Hill. Make that tag of it, that Vitman's tag you're doing at the minute. It's going to be good, that is. I'm going to look forward to seeing that. And also, guys, if you can check out Barbarossa 641, his thing's called, his channel's called. Oh, you want to see his dioramas this guy does. Wow, it really is good. It's Barbarossa, as in the conflict, Barbarossa 641. Check him out, guys. He's brilliant. His dioramas are second to none. He'll give our Mr. Moore a run for his money. Honestly, really good stuff. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. I've rambled on enough now and bored you all. Hope you all stay safe. Hope you all well. Hope you all keep building, and may the force be with you.